The massive space station hung like a metal star against the darkness. This was the heart of the Galactic Empire's military power. Thousands of ships came and went each day. But today, one small ship caught Commander Taiho's attention. "Sir, the human transport has arrived," said the young officer at the communications desk. Taiho nodded. He was not excited. Humans were new to the Empire. They were small, soft creatures from a backwater planet. The Empire had only started letting them join the military last year. It was all about politics, not about finding good fighters. "Which landing bay?" he asked. "Bay 94, sir. The human's name is HFY." Taiho walked slowly to the landing bay. His 4-meter-tall frame towered over most other beings on the station. As the head of recruiting for the Imperial Guard, he had seen warriors from 100 worlds. None impressed him anymore. Bay 94 was small, used for unimportant arrivals. The human ship was tiny, barely larger than a shuttle. Its hull showed signs of long travel. The ship's door slid open with a hiss. A slim figure stepped out. Taiho's first thought was that there had been a mistake. The human stood just over 1.5 meters tall. It wore simple gray clothing and carried one small bag. It had long black hair tied back and a face that Taiho found impossible to read. But most surprising, this human appeared to be female. "You are HFY?" Taiho asked, his translator making his deep voice sound flat. The human bowed slightly. "Yes, Commander. Thank you for meeting me." Taiho almost laughed. Female humans were even weaker than males. The Empire needed fighters, not soft creatures who needed protection. "Follow me," he said. "I will show you to your quarters." As they walked through the station's massive hallways, other soldiers stopped to stare. Many had never seen a human before. HFY ignored their looks, walking silently beside the commander. "Your records say you have combat training," Taiho said. "What weapons do you use?" HFY reached into her bag and pulled out an object wrapped in dark cloth. She unwrapped it to reveal what looked like an ancient sword handle. "This is my only weapon," she said. Taiho did laugh this time. "That? It looks broken." HFY pressed a button on the handle. A beam of blue energy sprang to life, humming softly. It was an energy blade, but unlike any Taiho had seen before. It looked old, handmade. "Interesting," he admitted. "But the Imperial Guard uses standard weapons. You will be issued a proper blaster." HFY turned off the blade and wrapped it again. "I understand," she said, but made no move to put it away. They arrived at a small room with rows of beds. "You will sleep here with the other new recruits," Taiho said. "Training begins at dawn station time. Do not be late." HFY looked at the room. 20 beds, all built for creatures much larger than her. "Thank you, Commander," she said. As Taiho turned to leave, he noticed something odd. The human moved differently than he expected. Despite her small size, she stepped with perfect balance. Her eyes constantly scanned the room, noting exits, cameras, other people. "One more thing," he said. "Why did you want to join the Imperial Guard? Humans rarely leave their system." HFY looked at him with dark, calm eyes. "To learn," she said simply. Taiho nodded and left, but as he walked away, he felt a strange chill. Something about this human didn't make sense. She was too calm, too confident. In his office, he pulled up her file again. There wasn't much. Basic training on Earth. No notable achievements. Nothing to explain why she would be sent here. "Computer, send this human to basic combat training tomorrow. Lowest level," he said. "Yes, Commander," the computer replied. Taiho looked out his window at the stars. The human would wash out within a week. The Empire had no place for weak fighters, no matter what the diplomats said. Little did he know just how wrong he was. The training hall was massive. High ceilings, metal walls, and floor spaces marked for different combat types. HFY stood at the entrance, wearing the standard gray training uniform. It hung loose on her small frame. "Recruits, line up." shouted Training Sergeant Guy Siok. He was half human and half Dravik, with green-tinted skin and muscles that bulged under his uniform. 20 new fighters formed a line. Jihai was the smallest by far. Jai Siok walked down the line, stopping at each recruit. He reached Jihai and had frowned. A human. A female human. He looked at his datapad. Jihai, what kind of joke is this? No joke, Sergeant, Jihai said quietly. I am here to train. Laughter erupted from the other recruits. A large blue-skinned alien with 4 arms pointed at Jihai. Look how tiny she is. My youngest child is bigger. Jai Siok held up a hand for silence. Enough, Krav. Everyone is tested fairly. He turned to Jihai. But I warn you, human, we don't go easy on anyone here. I understand, Jihai said. First test, basic combat skills. Everyone to the practice rings. The training floor had 10 circular rings. Pairs of recruits would fight in each ring using practice weapons that gave mild electric shocks instead of cutting. Human, you'll face Dorn, Jai Siok said, pointing to a recruit with rocky skin and thick limbs. Dorn was 3 times Jihai's size. Jihai nodded and stepped into the ring. Dorn grinned, showing stone-like teeth. I'll try not to break you, little human, he rumbled. Jai Siok handed them each a practice staff. Begin. Dorn rushed forward with surprising speed for his size. He swung the staff in a wide arc aimed at Jihai's head. What happened next made everyone in the hall stop and watch. Jihai didn't block or dodge like most fighters would. She simply wasn't there when the staff came around. With a small step and slight bend, she moved just enough for the staff to miss by the width of a finger. Before Dorn could recover, Jihai's staff tapped him lightly on the side, then behind his knee, then on his neck. 3 touches in less than 2 seconds. Each touch was perfect. Not hard enough to hurt, but precisely on target. Dorn roared and attacked again. And again, Jihai seemed to read his movements before he made them. She never blocked his powerful strikes. She simply wasn't where they landed. After 1 minute, Dorn was breathing hard. After 2 minutes, he was frustrated. After 3 minutes, Jihai finally ended it. As Dorn lunged, Jihai stepped inside his reach, tapped the staff on a pressure point near his elbow, and Dorn's arm went numb. His staff clattered to the floor. Match over, called Guy Siok, surprise clear in his voice. The hall was silent. All the other matches had stopped as everyone watched. That was acceptable, Jai Siok said slowly. Next test, advanced weapon handling. Throughout the day, Jihai completed each test with the same quiet efficiency. She never showed off. She never used more energy than needed. She spoke only when asked a direct question. By the end of the day, the laughter had stopped. Now the other recruits watched Jihai with curiosity and caution. In his office, Jai Siok filed his daily report. When he reached Jihai's assessment, he paused. Finally, he typed, "Recruit shows unusual combat awareness. Recommend advanced placement for further evaluation." He sent the report to Commander Tahoe, then leaned back in his chair. Something wasn't adding up. No beginner moved like that. No ordinary soldier had that level of awareness. "Computer, show me all records for human recruit Jihai," he said. "Basic file only." The computer responded. No detailed history available. Jai Siok frowned. Every recruit had a full file. Previous training, medical history, psychological profile. Why was this human different? Something else bothered him too. Throughout all the tests, Jihai had never once looked surprised or challenged. She had completed everything as if she had done it all 1,000 times before. Lieutenant Sunwoo sat in his small office, surrounded by screens. As the Empire's intelligence officer on this station, it was his job to know everything about everyone. Yet the file open before him was almost empty. "This makes no sense," he said to himself. The file belonged to the human recruit Jihai, After receiving Jai Seok's report, Commander Taho had ordered Sun Woo to dig deeper, but there was nothing to find. Most recruits had full records, school history, family connections, previous jobs, medical data. Jihai's file had only basic information: name, age, planet of origin. Nothing else. Sun Woo tapped his finger on the desk. Computer, connect to Earth Central Database. Connection established, the computer said. Search for citizen, Jihai. The screen flashed, then displayed 5,320 matches found. Sun Woo sighed. Narrow search. Jihai, age approximately 25 to 30, military background. 1,244 matches found. This wouldn't work. He needed more specific information. Computer, search military records for any Jihai who left Earth in the past 3 months for Imperial space. The screen went blank, then showed access restricted, security clearance required. Sun Woo sat up straight. This was unusual. The Empire had an agreement with Earth to share basic personnel records. Override. Imperial Security Protocol 5, Lieutenant Sun Woo, ID code 87,542. Override denied. Earth Security Protocol active. Operation Silent Frost. Sun Woo had never heard of Operation Silent Frost. He made a note of it. For the next 2 hours, he tried every search he could think of. Each time, he hit security blocks. Finally, frustrated, he sent a direct message to Earth's military command. The reply came back quickly. Recruit Jihai's service record is sealed by treaty. Confirm acceptable integration or return asset immediately. Asset? Not person, not soldier, but asset. The wording was strange. Sun Woo decided to try a different approach. He pulled up the security camera feeds from around the station. Jihai had been on the station for a week now. He found her in the footage and watched her daily routine. At first, nothing seemed unusual. She woke early, trained hard, ate alone, and went to bed at the same time each night. But then Sun Woo noticed patterns. Jihai never sat with her back to a door. She always chose paths with multiple exits. When entering new rooms, her eyes always checked corners, cameras, and vents. These weren't the habits of a normal soldier. These were the habits of someone trained for covert operations. Computer, show me Jihai's current location. Recruit Jihai is in the mess hall, level 3. Sun Woo decided to see for himself. He walked to the mess hall and spotted Jihai immediately. She sat alone at a corner table, eating quietly while other recruits talked loudly around her. He got a meal and approached her table. May I join you? Jihai looked up. Her face showed no surprise or concern. Of course, Lieutenant. Sun Woo sat down. How are you finding your training, recruit? It's going well. Thank you. Your instructors say you have unusual skills for a beginner. Jihai's face remained calm. I had good teachers on Earth. Strange. I couldn't find records of your teachers. For just a moment, something flashed in Jihai's eyes. It wasn't fear or worry. It looked like amusement. Not all teaching happens in schools, Lieutenant. Sun Woo leaned forward. Who are you really, Jihai? Why are you here? Jihai placed her fork down carefully. I am exactly who my file says I am. A human recruit serving the Empire. She paused. But perhaps you should ask your commander why Earth would send someone like me here. Before Sun Woo could ask more questions, an alarm blared through the station. All elite units report to Command Center. Emergency deployment orders received. Jihai stood up. Excuse me, Lieutenant. It seems we're needed elsewhere. Sun Woo watched her go, more confused than before. But one thing was becoming clear. Jihai was no ordinary recruit. The command center buzzed with activity. Maps and data filled the large screens on the walls. Commander Taho stood at the center table, his face serious. Listen up, he said as the room quieted. We have a situation in the Keras system. Scourge pirates have taken over the mining colony on Karis 4. They have hostages. A collective groan went through the room. The Scourge were the worst kind of pirates. They killed for fun and took no prisoners. We're sending in our best strike team, Taiho continued. Team leaders, check your tablets for the list. Lieutenant Sunwoo looked at his tablet and frowned. Sir, you've included recruit Ji-hai on this mission. She's only been here for a week. Taiho nodded. Direct orders from above. Apparently, Earth insisted their representative get combat experience quickly. He didn't look happy about it. The selected team gathered at the ship bay an hour later. 12 elite fighters from different species stood ready for battle. Ji-hai was by far the smallest. A tall Solarian warrior named Dong-hyun laughed when he saw her. His skin glowed with a faint blue light, marking him as one of the Empire's best fighters. They're sending a baby human to fight Scourge. He said loudly, You should stay on the ship, little one. The Scourge will eat you alive. Ji-hai said nothing. She checked her gear quietly. She wore standard armor that looked too big for her. At her side hung her energy blade instead of the standard blaster. Commander Taiho boarded the ship last. Everyone inside. We jump in 10 minutes. The journey to Karis 4 took 12 hours. The team sat in the ship's main room, checking weapons and studying the colony maps. Taiho explained the plan. We'll enter through the south docking bay. Team 1 will secure the path to the central control room. Team 2 will find and free the hostages. Any questions? Ji-hai raised her hand. Sir, the colony has maintenance tunnels running below the main level. They aren't on the official maps, but they would allow for surprise entry. Everyone stared at her. How do you know about tunnels that aren't on our maps? Taiho asked. Earth mining colonies use the same design. It's standard, Ji-hai replied calmly. Taiho looked suspicious, but nodded. We'll check when we arrive. As the ship got closer to Karis 4, the team grew quiet. Everyone was focused on the mission ahead. Everyone except Dong-hyun, who moved to sit across from Ji-hai. First combat mission, he asked with a smirk. With the Empire, yes, Ji-hai said. You've seen combat before. Dong-hyun sounded doubtful. Ji-hai looked at him with calm eyes. Yes. Against what? Earth has no real enemies. Dong-hyun laughed. Are you scared of the Scourge? They're the most feared pirates in the galaxy. Ji-hai turned her attention back to her energy blade, checking its power cell. I've seen worse. Something in her voice made Dong-hyun stop smiling. For a moment, the ship was completely silent. 5 minutes to arrival, the ship's computer announced. Taiho stood up. Gear up. Full combat load. The Scourge won't surrender, so don't bother asking. As everyone prepared their weapons, Sunwoo moved next to Ji-hai. Whatever you're hiding, Ji-hai, this isn't training anymore. Real people will die if you're not what you claim to be. Ji-hai finished checking her blade and looked up at him. For the first time, her face showed emotion. A small, sad smile. Lieutenant, I never claimed to be anything. Others made assumptions. She stood up and put on her helmet. But don't worry. This is what I was sent here to do. The ship shuddered as it entered Karis 4's atmosphere. Red lights flashed, and the rear door began to open. Team, move out. Taiho ordered. Ji-hai was the first one through the door. The mining colony was dark and quiet. Too quiet. The team moved through the landing bay, weapons ready. Something's wrong, whispered Taiho. The Scourge should have guards here. They found the first bodies near the entrance. 3 Scourge pirates lay on the floor, their weapons still in their hands. They had been killed with clean, precise cuts. They were attacked from behind, said Sunwoo, examining the bodies. But who did this? The miners don't have weapons. Taiho frowned. Spread out. Team 1, check the south corridor. Team 2, with me to the control room. As the teams separated, alarms suddenly blared through the colony. Red lights flashed, and metal doors began to close. "It's a trap," shouted Dong Yun. Explosions rocked the corridor. The floor shook, and smoke filled the air. In the confusion, Ji-hai disappeared. Tai-ho's team fought their way through groups of pirates. The Scourge were everywhere, firing from hidden spots, throwing explosives. The mission was falling apart. "Where's the human?" yelled Dong Hyun as they took cover behind a fallen door. Tai-ho checked his team tracker. "Her signal is moving through the lower level. She must have found those tunnels she mentioned. Or she's running away," said Dong Yun. More explosions shook the colony. The team pushed forward, fighting through one corridor after another. They found more dead pirates along the way. These ones hadn't been killed by blaster fire. They had been cut down, just like the first group. After an hour of fighting, Tai-ho's team finally reached the central control room. The door was partly open, bent and damaged from the inside. "Careful," said Tai-ho, raising his weapon. "Could be an ambush." They entered slowly, ready to fight, but what they saw made them stop in shock. The large room was filled with dead pirates. At least 30 bodies lay on the floor in perfect rings, as if they had all attacked at once from different directions. In the center of the room stood Ji-hai, helping the last hostage out of their chains. Her armor was scratched but showed no damage. Her energy blade glowed a deep red color, not the standard blue it had been before. There wasn't a single drop of blood on her. Ji-hai. Tai-ho could hardly believe his eyes. She turned, calm as always. "Commander, I found a faster route through the maintenance tunnels. The hostages are all accounted for. You did all this." Dong Hyun looked around the room in disbelief. "Alone?" Ji-hai nodded. "The Scourge were focused on your teams. They didn't expect anyone to come from below." Sun Woo moved closer to examine one of the dead pirates. "These cuts, they're all perfect. Each one is exactly the same depth, same angle." He looked up at Ji-hai. "No one has this kind of precision. Not even Solarian elite warriors." Ji-hai said nothing. She switched off her energy blade and helped an injured hostage to stand. Tai-ho walked to the room's security station and checked the cameras. Most were damaged, but one had recorded part of the fight. The footage showed a blur of movement, faster than the camera could track. Pirates fell one after another, sometimes 5 in a single second. The blur resolved into Ji-hai's form for just a moment before moving again. "What are you?" Tai-ho whispered. "We should get the hostages to safety," Ji-hai said, ignoring his question. "The colony's power core was damaged in the fighting. It will fail within an hour." As they led the freed hostages back to their ship, Dong Hyun kept his distance from Ji-hai. The other team members did the same. What they had seen didn't make sense. No human should be able to fight like that. No one should be able to kill 30 armed pirates alone without taking a single hit. On the ship, as they left the colony behind, Tai-ho received an urgent message from Imperial Command. He read it, then looked at Ji-hai with new understanding and growing concern. "Lieutenant Sun Woo," he said quietly, "meet me in the secure room. I've received Ji-hai's full file. The file that would change everything they thought they knew about their human recruit." The secure room was small, with no windows and only one door. Commander Tai-ho sat at the metal table, a data pad in front of him. Lieutenant Sun Woo stood nearby, waiting. "Is it bad?" Sun Woo asked. Tai-ho pushed the data pad across the table. "See for yourself. Earth sent this file directly to Imperial High Command. I was just given access." Sun Woo picked up the pad and began to read. His eyes grew wider with each word. "This can't be right," he said finally. "It's confirmed at the highest level," said Tai-ho. "Ji-hai is not who we thought." The file revealed the shocking truth. Ji-hai was actually Hyun-ki, a male operative from Earth's most secret Special Forces unit, the Phantom Directive. His appearance as a woman was part of his cover, designed to make enemies underestimate him. "A disguise," Sun Woo said, shaking his head. "But why?" "Keep reading," Tai-ho replied. The file showed Hyun-Ki's service record. 15 years of operations in the most dangerous parts of human space and beyond. The kill count was staggering. Over 5,000 confirmed eliminations. That was more than the Empire's top 10 warriors combined. Most disturbing were the missions themselves. Hyun-Ki had fought and defeated threats that the Empire considered untouchable. Pirate kings, war criminals, even a rogue AI that had taken over a space station. All eliminated without backup, without detection. Why would Earth send someone like this to us? Sun Wu asked. And why the deception? Taiho's face was grim. The last page explains it. Sun Wu turned to the final page. It was a message from Earth's highest military commander. The operative known as Hyun-Ki has been sent as both diplomatic gesture and demonstration. The Empire has long considered humanity a minor power with limited combat capabilities. This assessment is incorrect. Humanity's strength lies not in our size or technology, but in our adaptability and the specialized forces we have developed. Hyun-Ki represents the quiet warning beneath our friendly overtures. Do not mistake our peaceful approach for weakness. Sun Wu put down the pad. They sent him to show us what humans can really do. Yes, said Taiho. And to warn us not to underestimate them. A knock at the door interrupted them. Ji-hai. No, Hyun-Ki. Stood there, still in the same small female form they had known for the past week. You've received my file, Hyun-Ki said. It wasn't a question. Taiho nodded. You've deceived us. I followed my orders, Hyun-Ki said simply. Just as you follow yours. Why keep up this disguise? Sun Wu asked. We know the truth now. Hyun-Ki smiled slightly. This form has advantages. People underestimate me. It makes my work easier. And what exactly is your work? Taiho asked sharply. I am here to serve the Empire as part of the agreement between our worlds, Hyun-Ki said. My skills are at your disposal. 5,000 kills, Sun Wu said. Is that number real? The official number, Hyun-Ki replied. There were other operations not in the record. A heavy silence filled the room. The two officers looked at the small figure before them with new eyes. This wasn't just a soldier. This was a weapon in human form. What happens now? Taiho finally asked. That depends on you, Commander. My mission remains the same. Serve the Empire and demonstrate human capabilities. What changes is whether I do so openly or continue as before. Before Taiho could answer, alarm sirens blared throughout the ship. Emergency transmission from Imperial Command, announced the ship's computer. Priority 1 alert. All available units respond. Taiho checked his communication device. His face paled. A precursor facility has activated on Veros 7, he said. It's creating battle machines that are attacking everything in the sector. Hyun-Ki's expression changed for the first time. A look of recognition flashed across his face. Precursor technology. Sun Wu noticed the change. You know something about this? Yes, Hyun-Ki said. Humanity has encountered it before. The command ship moved fast through space toward Veros 7. Inside, the main room was filled with Imperial officers and elite fighters. Screens showed images of the planet and the ancient facility that had suddenly come to life. Commander Taiho stood at the front. The precursor facility activated 6 hours ago. It's creating battle machines that attack anything that moves. 3 small towns have already been destroyed. The room was silent. Everyone knew about the precursors, an ancient race that disappeared thousands of years ago. They left behind powerful technology that no one fully understood. Our mission is to shut down the facility, Taiho continued. But we don't know how. Hyun-Ki stepped forward. He still looked like Ji-hai, the small female human they had known. Only the highest officers knew his true identity now. I can help, Hyun-Ki said. Humanity has faced this before. All eyes turned to him. What do you mean? Asked Taiho. 3 years ago, a similar facility activated on a planet near Earth space, Hyun-Ki explained. I was part of the team sent to stop it. And you didn't share this information with the Empire? Lieutenant Sun Wu asked sharply. It wasn't my decision to make, Hyun-ki said simply. But now, I can help you. Tai-ho looked doubtful. How? These facilities have a central core. If we can reach it and input the right shutdown code, we can stop all the battle machines at once. And you know this code? Hyun-ki nodded. Yes, but reaching the core won't be easy. The facility has many defenses. Tai-ho thought for a moment, then decided. Fine. You'll lead a small team to find this core. The main force will distract the battle machines. I need to pick my team, Hyun-ki said. Why? Asked Dong-hyun, who still didn't trust the human. Because not everyone can move the way I need them to move, Hyun-ki replied. Tai-ho agreed. Choose who you need. To everyone's surprise, Hyun-ki picked Gai-seok and Dong-hyun, the very people who had doubted him the most. Why us? Jae-seok asked. Because you're both fast and adaptable, Hyun-ki said, and because you need to see the truth with your own eyes. The ship landed far from the facility to avoid detection. From a nearby hill, they could see the ancient building, a massive metal structure with strange glowing lines covering its surface. Around it, hundreds of battle machines patrolled. They looked like metal spiders with glowing red eyes. There's too many, said one officer. We can't fight them all. We don't need to, said Tai-ho. We just need to create a distraction while Hyun-ki's team enters from the back. Hyun-ki led Jae-seok and Dong-hyun away from the main group. They moved through thick forests, keeping low and quiet. I still don't understand, whispered Dong-hyun. How does a human know so much about precursor technology? Humans are curious, Hyun-ki replied. And we've learned to study our enemies carefully. They reached a small door hidden in the side of the facility. It was locked with a strange pattern of lights. How do we open it? Asked Gai-seok. Hyun-ki placed his hand on the door and closed his eyes. The lights changed color, and the door slid open. How did you do that? Dong-hyun was shocked. The precursors built their systems to respond to certain thought patterns, Hyun-ki explained. We learned how to mimic them. Inside, the facility was a maze of metal corridors with glowing blue lights. Strange sounds echoed from deep within. Stay close, Hyun-ki said. The facility will send defense units once it detects us. As if on cue, the walls opened and small flying robots emerged. They looked like metal insects with sharp blades for wings. Run, shouted Hyun-ki, drawing his energy blade. It glowed red in the dim light of the corridor. The three fighters raced deeper into the facility, toward the central core and the greatest challenge they had ever faced. The flying robots chased Hyun-ki, Jae-seok, and Dong-hyun through the narrow corridors of the precursor facility. Their bladed wings cut into the walls as they flew. This way, Hyun-ki called, turning down a side passage. They ran until they reached a large circular room. In the center stood a tall pillar of blue light. Strange symbols floated inside it. The core, Hyun-ki said. We need to reach it. But between them and the core were dozens of battle machines. These were bigger than the flying robots, with many arms ending in weapons. We can't fight all of those, Jae-seok said. Hyun-ki's face became serious. I can, but you need to see how. He looked at his teammates. Now you will understand why Earth sent me. Before they could ask what he meant, Hyun-ki changed. He stood straighter. His movements became different. He reached up and touched his neck. There was a small click, and the face they knew as Ji-hai seemed to melt away, revealing sharper, masculine features. This is my true form, said Hyun-ki in a deeper voice. Now watch. He moved toward the battle machines, and what happened next seemed impossible. Hyun-ki became a blur of motion. His energy blade cut through metal as if it were paper. He moved in ways that didn't seem human, jumping higher than any person should, twisting in midair to avoid attacks, striking with perfect precision. One battle machine fired a powerful energy blast. Hyun-Ki didn't dodge. Instead, he caught the energy on his blade and sent it back, destroying 3 machines at once. Jae-seok and Dong-hyun could only watch in amazement. This wasn't just skill. This was something beyond what they thought possible. When a giant machine cornered them, Hyun-Ki appeared from nowhere. He moved so fast, they could barely see him. His blade cut the machine into perfect pieces that fell harmlessly to the floor. In less than 2 minutes, every battle machine in the room lay destroyed. Hyun-Ki stood in the center, barely breathing hard. "How?" Dong-hyun asked, his voice filled with awe. "Humans evolved on a dangerous world," Hyun-Ki explained as he walked to the core. "We learned to adapt, to think differently. Our bodies seem weak, but we trained some of our people to use them perfectly." He placed his hands on the core and began typing on a hidden panel. The blue light pulsed. "Are all humans like you?" Jae-seok asked. Hyun-Ki shook his head. "No, but there are more than you might think. We don't show our strength unless needed." The core suddenly turned green. Throughout the facility, machines began to power down. "It's done," Hyun-Ki said. The shutdown code worked. As they made their way back outside, Hyun-Ki told them more. "Earth wanted the Empire to know what humans can really do. We don't have the strongest bodies or the most advanced ships, but we have learned to use what we have better than anyone else." Outside, they found the Imperial forces had suffered heavy losses fighting the battle machines. Commander Tae-ho ran to meet them. "The machines all stopped at once," he said. "How did you do it?" "Hyun-Ki did it," Dong-hyun said with new respect in his voice. 3 days later, on the main Imperial station, Commander Tae-ho stood before the High Council. Hyun-Ki stood beside him, now openly appearing as a male human. "Based on recent events," Tae-ho said, "I recommend we create a new Special Operations Division, and I recommend Hyun-Ki be named as its chief combat instructor." The council members whispered among themselves. One spoke up. "The humans' kill count is impressive, but can he teach our warriors?" Tae-ho looked at Hyun-Ki and nodded. "Humans have much to teach the Empire," Hyun-Ki said. "About adapting, about using what you have, about never judging an opponent by your own standards." The council agreed to the new division. In the months that followed, Imperial warriors learned to fight in new ways, and the Empire's view of humanity changed forever. They were no longer seen as weak newcomers, but as dangerous allies with hidden depths. As for Hyun-Ki, he trained the Empire's best fighters with the same quiet efficiency he did everything else, and he never again had to hide what he truly was.